Today, I'm building a Stanley Cup team around Auston Matthews. I'm going to do a fantasy draft. I'm giving myself 5 years to win a Stanley Cup. So this is what the team's looking like. Teaming up alongside Auston Matthews is going to be Lucas Raymond and John Klingberg. Before we take a look at the lines, I'm signing Cam Talbot to a 2-year deal worth $1.25 million per year. Simmons, he's going to get 2 years for $1.25 million per. Spezza, $900K for 1 year. Corey Perry, $750K for 1 year. Gaudreau, $900K for 1 year. And then I'm going to extend Klingberg for 4 years at a 5.4 AVA. And Rickard Rakell to a 5-year deal with a 4.6 AVA. So looking at this team, we got some great depth. I don't think we're going to be able to win it all this season, but I think we can definitely compete with the best teams in the league. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate 10 games and we'll see how this team's looking. Through the first 10, we're not looking too great as we're sitting with a 4-4-2 record. But over the next 15, we were fantastic, going 11-2-2, and we're currently sitting at a 15-6-4 record. At the 50 game mark, this team's sitting with a 28-15-7 record. We're 3rd in the Atlantic and 6th in the entire league. Auston Matthews is currently leading the way with 40 goals and 19 assists for 59 points. Rickard Rakell is coming in second with 16 goals and 33 assists for 49 points, and John Klingberg's rounding out the top 3 with 4 goals and 44 assists for 48 points. Leading the defense is John Klingberg, but we already knew that, and Sorokin's picked up 21 wins with a .905 save percentage and a .279 goals against. Now I'm going to go ahead and simulate over to the trade deadline, and depending on how this team does, we might make a few moves. Over the next 11 games, this team went 6-4-1, so I'm going to make a few moves. Foligno, a 3rd and a 4th, is off to Winnipeg for Manson. 2 prospects and a 4th is off to Arizona for Evander Kane, and Gunther and a 2nd off to Detroit for Ehlers and a 1st. And then I'm going to extend Manson to a 4-year deal worth $4.4 million per year, and Evander Kane's going to get 3 years at $5.7 million per year. Now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season, and we'll see how this team's looking. When the season came to an end, this team was looking okay with a 44-29-9 record. We're 3rd in the Atlantic and 8th in the entire league. Auston Matthews led the way with 53 goals and 31 assists for 84 points. Chandler Stevenson came in second with 23 goals and 52 helpers for 75 points, and Lucas Raymond came in 3rd with 26 goals and 42 assists for 68 points. John Klingberg led the defense with 8 goals and 59 assists for 67 points, and Sorokin's picking up 35 wins with a .902 save percentage and a .294 goals against. There was a 3-way tie for 1st in the league in points. Rantanen's picking up 43 goals and 55 assists for 98 points. Kucherov's picking up 41 goals and 57 assists for 98 points. And McDavid's rounding out the top 3 with 32 goals and 66 assists for 98 points. John Klingberg's leading all defensemen in points, and we already know what his numbers are. And Robin Leonard, he's picking up 41 wins with a .911 save percentage and a .253 goals against. In the first round, the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be taking on the Montreal Canadiens. A Sorokin shutout is going to allow Toronto to take game 1 3-0, but a late goal from Giroux in game 2 is going to even the series at 1 game apiece. A 4-1 game 3 puts Montreal up 2-1, and a late goal with only seconds left from Gaudreau evens up the series. A 5-goal game from Toronto puts them 1 game away from the second round, but Montreal is going to avoid elimination with a 4-2 win and forces game 7. A lone goal from Jason Spezza with 40 seconds left in the game is sending Toronto to the second round, and in the second round they're going to be matching up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa's coming out strong with a 4-1 game 1 win, and the momentum would continue into game 2 as they're winning that 4-1 as well. Toronto is going to avoid falling to a 3-0 deficit with a 6-4 win, and an OT winner from Matthews is evening the series at 2 games apiece. An OT winner from Ehlers is going to put Tampa on the brink of elimination, but 4 unanswered in the third period from Tampa is forcing game 7. And in game 7, 4 straight from Toronto is going to send them to the conference finals. And in the conference finals, they're going to be matching up against the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina's coming out strong in game 1, winning at 4-1, but 3 straight from Toronto is going to even the series at 1 game apiece. A 4-goal game 3 is going to give them a 2-1 series lead, but a late goal from Carolina is evening up the series. Momentum would continue from Carolina, and they're going to put the Leafs on the brink of elimination. And then 4 straight from Carolina is going to send them to the Cup final and send Toronto home. When the playoffs came to an end, Edmonton would go on to win the Stanley Cup. In the playoffs, Lucas Raymond led the way with 6 goals and 12 assists for 18 points. Leading all playoff scorers was Killorn with 11 goals and 17 assists for 28 points. And looking at goaltenders, Darcy Kemper is going to lead the way with 16 wins and a .909 save percentage and a .275 goals against. Taking a look at the draft lottery results, Calgary is going to get the first overall pick. We had 6 picks in this draft, and our best prospect ended up being a low elite potential left winger. In the re-sign phase, I'm going to qualify a bunch of RFAs, then fast, you're going to get $1.6 million per year for 3 years. Chris Kreider, you're off to New Jersey for Atkinson in the 3rd. I don't think we need Kreider anymore, especially if we have Evander Kane as our power forward. Giordano is going to get $5.3 million per year for 1 year. Butcher's going to get $4.45 million per year for 2 years. Palat, $5.7 million million per year for 1 year, and then Clefbaum, a prospect in the 7th, is off to Vegas for Frost. So taking a look at the forward core, we're looking pretty strong this year. Our defense could probably use a bit of work, but our goaltending, I'm not concerned about that. And before we get into the season, I want to extend Lafreniere to a 4-year deal worth $6.3 million per. With that extension in the books, it's time to go ahead and simulate 10 games. Through the first 10 games, this team's looking very similar to last season with a 4-4-2 record. And through the next 15 games, we were really similar as well, going 11-1-3, and we're sitting at a 15-5-5 record. Through 50 games, this team's looking elite. A 35-10-5 record. We're first in the Atlantic and first in the entire league. Matthews is leading the way with 28 goals and 29 assists for 57 points. Lucas Raymond's coming in second with 22 goals and 33 assists for 55 points. And John Klingberg's going to round out the top 3 with 8 goals and 43 assists for 51 points. Klingberg's also leading the defense, but we already knew that. And Sorokin, he's got 28 wins with a .911 save percentage and a .255 goals against. Now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and we're probably going to make a few moves, especially since this team's doing so well. Also, if you're part of the 80% of people that aren't subbed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 9,000 subs by the end of the month, and I won't be able to do that if you don't subscribe. Over the next 10 though, we weren't quite as good with a 6-2-2 record. I'm going to make one trade here. Lafreniere, a third and a prospect to Seattle for Weegar and Trocheck. Weegar, we're going to bring back next season. There's no doubt about that. And Trocheck's an upgrade for this season. He won't be back next season, but if we want to win a cup, he's a good guy to have. And before I simulate to the end of the season, I'm going to extend Merkley to a 3-year deal worth $1.7 million per year. When the season came to an end, this team was fantastic, finishing with a 53-20-9 record. We're first in the Atlantic and first in the entire league. Matthews led the way with 46 goals and 47 assists for 93 points. Lucas Raymond's coming in second with 31 goals and 56 assists for 87 points. And Ehlers is rounding out the top 3 with 27 goals and 47 helpers for 74 points. Klingberg's going to lead the defense with 10 goals and 60 assists for 70 points. And Sorokin's picking up 41 wins with a .911 save percentage and a .267 goals against. Mark Scheifele led the entire league in points with 33 goals and 63 assists for 96 points. Patrick Kane's coming in second with 40 goals and 54 assists for 94 points, and Auston Matthews is going to come in third, but we already know what his numbers are. Cale Makar is going to lead all defensemen in points with 15 goals and 60 assists for 75 points, and Luukkonen's going to pick up 43 wins with a .911 save percentage and a .267 goals against. In the first round, we're going to be taking on the Washington Capitals. Toronto's going to come out hot in game 1, winning 4-1, and the momentum continues heading into game 2 with a massive 8-3 win. A 3-goal second period from Washington avoids them falling to a 3-0 deficit, and a Palat hat trick is going to put Washington on the brink of elimination. A late third period push from Toronto isn't enough, and Washington's taking game 5. And then a 2-goal third period from Washington is going to force game 7. But in game 7, 5 unanswered from Toronto is sending them to the second round. And in the second round, they're going to match up against the Florida Panthers. A Stützle hat trick helps Florida take game 1, and the momentum would continue for Florida with a 5-goal game in game 2. A 4-goal game from Florida puts Toronto on the brink of elimination, but Toronto's going to avoid elimination with a 7-4 win in game 4 and a 3-2 win in game 5. But in game 6, a 4-2 win from Florida is going to eliminate Toronto. When the playoffs came to an end, Chicago would go on to win the Stanley Cup. Looking at our playoff scorers, Lucas Raymond's going to lead the team with 8 goals and 5 assists for 13 points. But Auston Matthews, where were you, my guy? 3 goals and 4 assists for 7 points in 13 games? I need more from you if this team's going to win. We built this team around you. I need you to play better. Leading all playoff scorers is going to be Evgeny Malkin with 9 goals and 21 assists for 30 points, and Mackenzie Blackwood's picking up 16 wins with a .928 save percentage and a .214 goals against. Before we get into the draft, I'm extending Weegar to a 3-year deal worth $7.8 million per year, and then St. Louis is going to jump in the draft lottery results from 11-1. We had 4 picks in the draft, but our best prospect ended up being a medium top 6 potential center. Entering the re-sign phase, I signed all the important rookies and qualified a bunch of RFAs. Looking at extensions, Frost is going to get 1 year at $1.4 million. Lucas Raymond is going to get $8 million per year for 2 years. Auston Matthews is going to get $13.5 million per year for 2 years. Stevenson, $5.8 million per year for 4 years. Sorokin, $4.6 million per year for 6 years. Atkinson, you're off to Philly for 2 seconds. Rossi, you're coming back here for $3 million per year for $7.3 million. David Perron, $3 million per year for 1 year. Evgeny Malkin, $6.7 million per year for 1 year. Pavelski, $6.4 million per year for 1 year. And then the final move is going to be sending a prospect and a 7th to Edmonton for Edmondson and a 5th. So looking at this forward core, we're elite. There's no questions about it. I improved the defense from last season, and the goaltending, I'm still not concerned about that. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate 10 games, and I need this team to win when it matters most. Through the first 10 games, we suck like usual. I don't know why, but we're 5-4-1. Over the next 15, who would have thought? We were great with an 11-2-2 record, so we're currently sitting at a 16-6-3 record. Through 50 games, this team's looking fantastic with a 31-14-5 record. We're second in the Atlantic and third in the entire league. Lucas Raymond's currently leading the way with 22 goals and 32 assists for 54 points. Matthews is coming in second with 27 goals and 23 assists for 50 points, and Ehlers is rounding out the top three with 15 goals and 27 assists for 42 points. Klingberg's leading the defense in points with 4 goals and 35 helpers for 39 points, and Sorokin's picked up 29 wins with a 917 save percentage and a 233 goals against. Keep up the good work, my guy. So I believe this team can win, so I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and then we're going to make some moves. Over the next 14 games, this team was alright with an 8-5-1 record. We're going to make one move here, which is sending Rickard Rakell and a first to Calgary for Tom Wilson and a second. And now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season, and we'll see how this team does. After the trade deadline, this team wasn't that great. We finished with a 44-29-9 record. We're second in the Atlantic and 10th in the entire league. Yeah, we fell off. Lucas Raymond led the way with 33 goals and 46 assists for 79 points. Auston Matthews came in second with 39 goals and 34 assists for 73 points, and Ehlers is picking up 28 goals and 39 helpers for 67 points. John Klingberg's leading the defense with 9 goals and 54 assists for 63 points, and Sorokin's picking up 41 wins with a 913 save percentage and a 247 goals against. McDavid led the entire league in points with 57 goals and 50 assists for 107 points. Scheifele's picking up 36 goals and 66 assists for 102 points, and Draisaitl is going to pot 41 goals while picking up 57 assists for 98 points. Cale Makar is leading the defense once again with 21 goals and 65 assists for 86 points, and Merzlikins is picking up 46 wins with a 914 save percentage and a 256 goals against. In the first round, we're going to be matching up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. A lone goal from Kyle Connors allowing Tampa to take game 1, but Toronto's going to even the series with a 4-2 game 2 win. Toronto's going to close out a close game 3 4-3, and an OT winner from Fast is going to put Toronto one game away from the second round. And in game 5, an OT winner from Lucas Raymond is sending Toronto to the second round. In the second round, they're going to be matching up against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins are going to come out hot in game 1, winning 5-3. In game 2, Toronto's going to even the series up with a big game of their own in a 5-2 win. Momentum would continue for Toronto as they're winning game 3 4-1. A 6-1 win in game 3 is going to put Toronto one game away from the conference finals. However, Pittsburgh's going to avoid elimination with a 5-4 win in game 5. But in game 6, a 3-2 win sending Toronto to the conference finals. In the conference finals, Toronto's going to be matching up against the Philadelphia Flyers. Philly's coming out flying in game 1 with a 7-4 win, but a Sorokin shutout in game 2 is going to even the series. Philly has a similar performance in game 3 as they did in game 1 with another 7-4 win. 3 third period goals from Toronto is going to even the series at 2 games apiece, but Philly's going to take game 5, which is putting Toronto on the brink of elimination. And in game 6, a 6-3 win sends Philly to the Stanley Cup and eliminates Toronto. After eliminating Toronto, the Flyers would go on to win the Stanley Cup. Auston Matthews had a much better playoff performance as he's picking up 13 goals and 7 assists for 20 points. Tovanden's going to lead all players in points with 13 goals and 14 assists for 27 points, and Hellebuyck's our Stanley Cup winning goaltender with 16 wins with a 912 save percentage and a 274 goals against. Taking a look at the draft lottery results, Edmonton's going to jump from 8-1. We had 9 picks in the upcoming draft, and our best prospect ended up being a medium elite potential right winger. So I went ahead and signed all the rookies and qualified all the important RFAs. Now we're on to signings. Pavelski, you're going to get $3.4 million per year for 1 year. Perron, $1.9 million per year for 1 year. Tom Wilson, $7.25 million per year for 2 years. Evander Kane, you're off to Nashville for 2 seconds. McNabb, you're going to Chicago for a 3rd and a 5th. Devon Taves, I'm going to sign you to a 3-year deal with a 6.75 AVA, and then I'm going to trade a 2nd rounder to Dallas for Joseph. Georgiev, you're coming back here for $1.1 million per year for 1 year. Niederreiter, $1.3 million per year for 1 year. Tatar, 1 year for $1 million, and Frost, 1 year for $1 million as well. So the forwards might not be looking as strong, but our defense is definitely better, and I'm going to stick with Sorokin for the next 2 seasons. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate the first 10 games, and we'll see how the team's looking. Through the first 10, we're not looking too bad with a 5-4-1 record, but over the next 15, we struggled going 5-10, and we're currently sitting at a 10-14-1 record. Through 50 games, the team's definitely doing a lot better with a 29-18-3 record. We're first in the Atlantic and third in the entire league. Matthews is leading the way with 29 goals and 17 assists for 46 points. Ehlers is tied for first with 11 goals and 35 assists for 46 points, and Pavelski's rounding out the top 3 with 16 goals and 22 assists for 38 points. Klingberg's leading the defense with 6 goals and 31 helpers for 37 points, and Sorokin's picked up 22 wins with a 904 save percentage and a 279 goals against. So now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and depending on how this team does, I'm probably going to make a few moves. Over the next 14, we look great going 9-5, so I'm going to make a few moves. I'm going to send 2 seconds and fast to Seattle for Iafallo, an elite prospect going to Dallas for Marchand in a second, and the bronze off to Nashville for a 4th and a 5th. And then I'm going to simulate to the end of the season, and we'll see where this team's sitting. When the season came to an end, we were looking not too bad with a 49-29-4 record, 3rd in the Atlantic and 9th in the entire league. Ehlers led the way with 22 goals and 53 assists for 75 points. Matthews is coming in second with 38 goals and 35 assists for 73 points, and Marchand's going to round out the top 3 with 33 goals and 38 assists for 71 points. Klingberg's leading the defense with 7 goals and 42 assists for 49 points, and Sorokin's picking up 40 wins with a 911 save percentage and a 259 goals against. Tim Stutz is going to lead all players in points with 38 goals and 67 assists for 105 points. Rantanen's coming in second with 46 goals and 50 assists for 96 points, and Scheifele's rounding out the top 3 with 26 goals and 66 assists for 92 points. Leading all defensemen is Rasmus Dahlin with 17 goals and 61 assists for 78 points, and Grubauer's leading all goaltenders in wins with 45, while posting a 920 save percentage and a 231 goals against. In the first round, the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to be taking on the Florida Panthers. Florida's coming out hot in game 1 in a 5-2 win, but Toronto's bouncing back in game 2 with a 4-3 win. A late goal from Schmidt isn't enough, and Toronto's taking a 2-1 series lead. An OT winner from Rantanen's evening the series at 2 games apiece, and then a massive 7-goal game from Florida is putting Toronto on the brink of elimination. And in game 6, Toronto's falling in a 4-3 Florida win. When the playoffs came to an end, the Pittsburgh Penguins would go on to win the Stanley Cup over the San Jose Sharks. Ehlers led the way for the team with 4 goals and 3 assists for 7 points. Leading all playoff scorers was Mark Scheifele with 10 goals and 30 assists for 40 points. This dude was dialed in, and Swayman's picking up 16 wins for a 922 save percentage and a 233 goals against. Taking a look at the draft lottery results, Dallas is going to jump from 5-1. We ended up having 10 picks in the draft. Our best prospects were a low elite potential left winger, a medium elite potential goalie, and a low elite potential defenseman. So I'm bringing back Frost for 1 year at a 2.2 AVA. Then I'm making a massive trade, which is sending Rossi a 1st and 2 prospects to Calgary for Shane Wright, and then Joseph's coming back for 2 years at a 2.5 AVA. I'm going to make another massive move, which is sending 2/3 a prospect and a 5th to Tampa for Marchand. I didn't have enough money to re-sign him during the re-sign phase, so we're going to have to trade for him. Then Craig Smith, I'm going to sign you for 1 year at 1.4, Strome 1 year at 1.4, and Seshnikov 1 year at 1.5. Then I'm going to trade one of our prospects for Philip Hedl, a 4th and a 5th, and then I'm flipping Hedl along with a prospect for Duclair and DeMello. Yarncrow is getting a 1-year deal worth $1 million, and Gorgiev, you're going to get $800K for 1 season. So here's our last chance. The team's looking solid, our defense is definitely looking good, and Sorokin's our man, and that's not up for debate. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate through 10 games, and let's hope this team's dialed in. Through the first 10, we were decent with a 6-3-1 record, but over the next 15, there was a bit of cause for concern as this team went 8-6-1, and we're currently sitting at a 14-9-2 record. At the 50 game mark though, things are looking fantastic. We're 35-13-2, 1st in the Atlantic and 1st in the entire league. Ehlers is once again leading the way with 22 goals and 42 assists for 64 points. Matthews has picked up 31 goals and 29 assists for 60 points, and Marchand's rounding out the top 3 with 27 goals and 31 assists for 58 points. Uyghur's leading all defensemen in points with 4 goals and 35 assists for 39 points, and Sorokin's picked up 33 wins with a 905 save percentage and a 274 goals against. So now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and then we're going to make a few moves. I don't think too many because this team's looking great. Over the next 12 games, this team's looking great, an 8-3-1 record, so I think we're only going to make one move. I'm going to send a prospect, a 2nd, and a 4th to Carolina for Jonathan Drouin. With that trade in the books, I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season. When the season came to an end, the team's sitting at a 57-21-4 record. We're 1st in the Atlantic and 1st in the entire league. Matthews led the way with 49 goals and 45 assists for 94 points. Marchand's coming in second with 38 goals and 50 assists for 88 points, and Ehlers is picking up 30 goals and 55 assists for 85 points. Uyghur's leading all defensemen in points with 7 goals and 49 assists for 56 points, and Sorokin's picking up 52 wins with a 910 save percentage and a 256 goals against. Patrick Laine led all players in points with 56 goals and 52 assists for 108 points. Kuznetsov's coming in second with 24 goals and 73 assists for 97 points, and Kyle Connor's rounding out the top 3 with 28 goals and 57 helpers for 95 points. Cale Makar's leading all defensemen in points with 17 goals and 66 assists for 83 points, and Sorokin's leading all goaltenders and wins, but we already know what his numbers are. In the first round, we're going to be taking on the New Jersey Devils. 2 Matthews goals is going to help us take game 1 4-1, and then 3 unanswered in the third is going to lead to a 2-0 series lead. 7 unanswered in game 3 is going to put New Jersey on the brink of elimination, but New Jersey is going to avoid the sweep with a Barzal OT winner in game 4. But in game 5, the Leafs are going to close it out in a big 7-5 win. In the second round, we're going to be taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal is taking game 1 5-2, and then they're going to continue to roll with a Jari shutout leading to a 2-0 series lead. Another Tristan Jarry shutout is going to put Toronto on the brink of elimination in Game 3, but an OT winner from Marchand is going to help Toronto avoid the sweep. However, in Game 5, 3 unanswered from Montreal in the third is going to lead to Toronto's elimination. Honestly, I think I built a Stanley Cup team multiple times, but this team just couldn't win when it mattered most. I guess that's my fault then.